It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we got our No Way Home tickets. At least I did. I don't know if you did, Mike.
Some earlier show times than others, we'll say.
Yes, exactly. Spider-Verse surprises us with its first teaser this weekend.
Yes. Spider-Verse made it through all of my Twitter muted words. Because that's the one thing I didn't mute was Spider-Verse.
Well, there you go. Lucky you. 'Tis the season for video games, and we'll talk about what that means and more.
'Tis the season, just indeed in general. I keep forgetting that last week it wasn't December yet when we recorded the podcast. We were post-Thanksgiving, which is kind of the unofficial, I don't even know if official start of kind of like the holidays here in North America.
Yeah. I mean, I'll allow it.
But now
the Scrooge I am. I'll allow it.
But now we're fully in December. Los Angeles is finally encountering a season. So it's like finally dipped below like 70 degrees. We turned our heat on for the first time.
Whoa.
And obviously it's getting darker earlier. And I'm also seeing like crazy weather patterns. Like this is kind of like a first world problem. But like here in Southern California, you don't have to watch the weather really too often at all. You just kind of like whip open an app for 2 seconds, then you close it and you don't look at it again for another week. But I happen to be tuned into some sort of like weather programming, and I saw that there's supposed to be like crazy weather happening like all over this side of like the hemisphere, right? I think like there's supposed to be like snow like in Hawaii or something, and then it's like gonna be like the Midwest is gonna be like hit with like a band of weather over the next couple days. It's about to get crazy. Yeah,
it's been really, really nice out. Like I attempted to hang lights on my house for the first time this year. I sent a photo to you. They are very haphazardly hung on there. Like I'm not proud of how it looks, but I'm also proud. Like, yeah, I did this without like raging and throwing a ladder and falling off a ladder. So I feel pretty good about that. But like, you know, I was looking at the weather. Like today it rained, tomorrow it's rainy, and then literally like it's like 68, 70. Very nice weather here for the Midwest. But then literally Tuesday the high is 35. So it is drastically changing here. Like I know we're used to that here. You're from this part of the country. You're used to it, like getting all 4 seasons in a day. So it's just really funny to to everyone's kind of going through it right now. So December is upon us, and you know with that is the holiday season. Mike, I've already been to 2 Christmas parties. Like that's people are making up for not having them last year already. They're like, let's go ahead and bang these out every week until the end of this year. And I'm not about that life, to be honest.
There's one that we're invited to that will probably hit up right after we're done recording the podcast tonight. That's like a hybrid, like holiday birthday type of thing. Because believe it or not, people still have birthdays in the month of December, which is unfortunate, especially if you're a little too close to the holidays. Because then you start to get doubled up on gifts, which is just like, I know you're cheaping out. I would normally get more gifts if I was slid into a different portion of the year. But yeah, I went to Universal Studios this weekend, and I wore my Deadpool quote unquote ugly Christmas sweater, and which was great because you don't often get sweater weather out here. So it was great sweater weather, and I actually had a couple people come up to me, compliment my sweater, and then ask me like where it was from because they wanted to get one. And it's great gift from the wife. The one couple came up and asked like, "Oh, we love your Christopher. Where'd you get it?" And I looked over at my wife and I was like, "Wait, didn't you get this for me?" She's just like, "Yeah, I think so." We had both forgotten where it came from. So I was like, "Well, wait a minute. I just put this on a couple hours ago. I swear I thought I saw a brand on the back of it." So like these people are staring at me. My wife is like pulling down my sweater, trying to look at the neck of it. I guess it was from a company called like We Love Fine, Fine. So I don't know exactly what's there.
I believe that's Box Lunch.
Oh, is it? Okay. I think
that
that makes sense. So nice little Deadpool outing with my holiday gear at Universal Studios. Got some hot butter beer, which is great when there's a little bit of a chill out. I don't even know technically how chilly it ever gets over at Universal's in Florida. So the only place maybe to get a nice hot butter beer where the temperature gets cold enough to really let it sink in might be Southern California, surprisingly. But
nice.
It was a great weekend, but also like all theme parks do to you, I am absolutely exhausted, especially because I'm not a young whippersnapper anymore, Chris. So I was just waiting to get home to sit down on the couch to watch the Spider-Verse trailer that dropped while I was at the park, but I was not going to let myself watch it on my phone. I was patient. I watched it on my big old TV.
There you go. That's it. Because there'd been teases throughout yesterday, and I was like, maybe it's on Good Morning America or whatever Today's show on Monday, and then they're like literally 8:30 on a Sunday they drop a trailer. And I was like, this is really weird. And then you messaged me at like 1:30 my time, like, I'm gonna watch it when I get home. And I'm like, when I woke up, I'm like, I hope we watch this because this is very cool. But yeah, I'm actually wearing right now. I'm a big fan of Christmas Vacation, and I have my Griswold Family Christmas that literally has him in the hockey mask, the adjacent mask that says "Bend over and I'll show you."
Yeah, we actually have an ornament in our Christmas tree that where you hit a button and it plays that audio clip, and it's Clark Griswold in that mask. It's great.
Oh yeah, it's a good time. I love bringing that out in the holidays. I'm a Grinch person as well. I have How the Grinch Stole Christmas on vinyl record so I could listen to it. I'm not as Scroogey as I act. It's just one of those things. Like I'm not one of those people who wants to celebrate it not like the day after Halloween kind of thing. Like
I can recommend. It's definitely for adults only, and you have to be in the mood for kind of really crass sense of humor. But the adult animated show Big Mouth on Netflix. This most recent season had a holiday Christmas special that was actually really, really good. It was full of like a few vignettes, and some of them had different art styles. There was like a stop motion, there was a puppet one, there was one that kind of looked like very graphical, comic booky, maybe slightly anime, but it was actually really, really funny. So if you're a fan of Big Mouth, go check out that holiday special in the newest season. Don't show it to your kids. There's lots of phallic imagery, phallic imagery of some mythological Christmas characters. If you're picking up on what I'm saying, so keep your kids away from that.
All right, well we'll do that. I'm gonna jump ahead to my week. My week is kind of booked. For the past 20 years, probably a little less. I have absolutely been enthralled by the video game series Halo, the books, the comics, the artwork, the games of all kinds. It's just one of those things that I grew up in a very rural area where we didn't have high-speed internet until after almost late 2000s, like almost 2010. So growing up, we had Xboxes and LAN parties. Mike, I'm sure you're familiar with the old LAN party.
Yeah. I feel like the vibe I get from you, Chris, is you're like 2 free hours away in your day from like editing the Halo Wikipedia page. Yeah. Like if you just had a little bit more free time, you would be up in there like correcting the other nerds. You are very much in this world.
It is something I just love. There's some books they wrote in like 2003 that kind of tie into it. It makes it really good. It expands the world quite a bit. It's really good science fiction. And again, we talked the other day about the Halo Infinite multiplayer coming out early. Well, finally, the campaign will be out on Wednesday for everybody to play. And followed up by next Saturday, I will be going to my brother-in-law's, who actually I grew up with, to play literally Halo Infinite on a LAN party pretty much all of Saturday, like day and night. So I'm very, very excited for this. I took off work for 3 days to play it. Like that's how like excited I am to get through this and learn the story and the secrets and see kind of what's going on. Because I again, like any good movie, Mike, we try to go in as blind as we can, right? Like we don't want to ruin all the surprises. So keeping this close to the chest. So I'll be playing that. That does work on both Xbox One and 360s, PC, and that cloud service you have, Mike. If you want to give that another try on the campaign rather than the multiplayer, that will be available to you on Wednesday as well. But the other part of this time of year is every December is the Video Game Awards. Are you familiar with the Video Game Awards?
Yes, I am.
So this Thursday is the Video Game Awards. Like literally, it's Halo than that. And the Video Game Awards is a lot like, I think it's better than E3 because E3 is like kind of like sometimes it's good, sometimes like past years has been like recorded stuff. So Video Game Awards is a great opportunity. Like they have a really good host, they have a bunch of guests, they come in and they'll do the awards, and then they'll like actually reveal stuff about video games, upcoming stuff, things like that. And I know I've seen some rumors of some stuff coming up, maybe at Video Game Awards, possibly tomorrow. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But the Video Game Awards are on Thursday, and it's just something fun to tune into online, like through YouTube or Twitch or wherever you stream your videos, and kind of see what's winning, because I'm interested to see. It's kind of been a dry year for video games, right? Like we've had a couple here or there, but a lot of delays. So I'm excited to kind of see what's going on and what announcements are going to have, what drops are they going to give us, because everybody knows us. We love our surprise announcements, right? Like don't tell us, just show us the announcement. Let's go. So I'm gonna be tuning in that Thursday. So that's my week right there. I'm just so stoked for Halo Infinite. I got to get through the show, Mike, because I'm like, I got to focus on what we're talking about here and not that, because this is going to be so fun. But unless you got anything else, we can jump right in to the notes today.
I mean, the only thing I'm looking forward to is Call of Duty Warzone. New map finally dropping this week. So the little video game boy inside of me will be enjoying that this week.
Oh, yeah. But, yes. And we got something similar to that in the show notes down here, and it actually ties to what we're talking about. So video games are big this week. It's that time of year. Everybody has video games for Christmas, right? Like, that's what it's all about. So let's jump into our first topic of the day, Batman the Animated Series. And you might be wondering, why are we bringing this up here? This show has been off the air for years. Why would it show up now? Well, apparently this universe will continue as a new audio drama series with the original voice cast returning. This Marvel has been huge in those audio podcasts lately, like Old Man Logan, Old Man Hawkeye, Old Man Star-Lord. I think was it the Black Widow? It's not Old Man Widow because she's a woman, but you know what I'm talking about.
There's a Thor one as well. Yeah, they're really kind of fleshing out the audio side of things.
So Batman the Animated Series looks to be taken up and actually bringing in the original voice cast, including I can't think of the Batman's voice off the top of my head.
Kevin Conroy?
Yeah, Kevin. I would say Kevin. I was like, not Kevin Costner, not Kevin Richardson.
Kevin McAllister. You're just getting confused because Home Alone time of year.
yes, it is. It is that time of year. So yes, they'll be back. Also, the people who talked about with him and the Riddler specifically, the Riddler will focus a lot on this upcoming series, and then also they've announced that Danny Elfman will write a new theme for this show. I know that was it not Tim Burton, the Paul Dini and the other guy who did the original one are actually creating a new series for HBO Max that's not in this, but like kind of still of that, like, very dark and gothic Gotham. But like this is kind of interesting take on how they've decided to continue franchises people love. I know Doctor Who does this as well, Mike. Is this something you probably tune into?
I mean, just in general, when it comes to kind of every big IP or pop culture that we talk about on this show, I just never know how serious to take any of the audio dramas or, podcasts or whatever you want to call them, because I did listen to the first season of the Wolverine podcast and I enjoyed it. And I'm sure that there's definitely entertainment value to take out of all of these, but I don't really know if they go anywhere, right? How popular would one of these stories have to be, to be adapted into something like visual, whether it's a cartoon or even a movie or a series. I wonder if there's any idea from any of the producers behind this of just like, oh, well, let's see if any of these like pop off and then maybe we'll adapt it. But my guess is that there's a lot of venture capital out there when it comes to podcasting or audio companies, and just like any other kind of like entertainment startup, you need content, you need identifiable content. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not necessarily Warner Brothers or even Marvel that want to make these things, but it could be like these audio like startups reaching out to them and be like, we want your stuff on our platform, we'll give you money because we're trying to get users. So I guess I'm kind of in that zone of just like, if you're enjoying it, that's great, but I just don't know, with all of like the competition out there for your ears and your eyeballs, who has the time to listen to all of these things? Which is weird because like they could be great and it could be like an amazing audio just delight, but it's like I don't have the time to listen to a Batman audio drama, even if it's like amazing. So I guess I'm just keeping my eyes open, and just if anybody on the internet really starts talking about one of these particularly, oh, you gotta watch, you gotta listen to this, you can't miss it, this is great, this is the best story for this character I've heard in a while. Once I hear something like that, maybe I'll hop into one of these.
Well, I think to me is I don't know how long these are, if I was going to be completely honest with you. And I actually am pulling up literally Old Man or Wastelander's Hawkeye or whatever it is over here just to see how long these episodes are. Because, I mean, are they like 10 minutes? Are they 20 minutes? Are they long as the episode?
I mean, the Wolverine one was like at least like 40 minutes to an hour per episode, I think.
Yeah, these are 31, 33, and I that includes intros and credits. So probably like what 25 to or so minutes, and they have 10. So yeah, I would like, if I was gonna do this is gonna be one of those things where I sit down and listen to like the whole, like I want them all done. I don't want to wait every week. Like I'd rather just have them all, like maybe listen to them since I'm one of the few people in the world who still drives to work, it seems like. So like yeah, I can listen to it in the car, like half hours. That'll get me there.
Or
back,
a lot of traveling on flights this holiday would be a great time to binge something like that. Yeah,
exactly. I think there's an opportunity when you have them all grouped together rather than like kind of wait for them like a podcast does. Like people, thank you for listening to this. You come back next week, hopefully. But for that kind of stuff, I don't know what the release schedule is. I'd rather just listen to it all in a row because I'd actually rather binge audio than video. I don't that's a little weird, but that's kind of how I am for that. Is there anything from the animated series you'd want? Like I would want, of course, the Joker to come back, right? Like, of course, Mark Hamill is known for his vocal role of this character, but like I don't know. Is there anything you'd like to hear out of this?
The first thought I had was like, what would be the worst Batman animated series character to hear only in audio format? And at first I was like, oh, Clayface, because you wouldn't be able to see any of the shapeshifting he does. But I remembered when he does shapeshift, I believe his voice also shapeshifts as well. So you could have fun with that. That's the thing just about audio dramas or podcasts in general. If you're not somebody that really has delved into any like fiction podcasts, they can be almost just as entertaining as anything visually, right? You can really create like audioscapes and really kind of be pulled down into that world. So I think honestly anything could be adapted into like an audio form. Also just ask any blind person, right? They're consuming like tons of this stuff, and I'm sure they're having a great time listening to that type of content.
Yeah, and one of the things is as long as what I've seen again with Doctor Who, a lot of the actors will come back and do like, oh, this adventure happened years ago kind of thing, but we have the original actor back to the voice casting, right? Like if you can get the original voice cast back, I think it's a little more authentic than that. And I just looked up, Ron Perlman was the voice of Clayface
that's cool.
In the animated series. I was trying to see when they announced it would come out or anything else, but I don't really see anything else they're coming up. So this is interesting. I want to hear Danny Elfman's new theme, see how similar it is to the old one. But yeah, nothing beats the visuals of that old one. Man-Bat, that's a character you don't want to hear on that.
Just a bunch of screeching, right?
Just a bunch of screeching. So yeah, there we go. Moving in through the DC world, Peacemaker, the series gives us what they are calling the official trailer. Who knows? This is our second trailer for Peacemaker, and it boils down to they're trying to me redeem this character from his actions in the Suicide Squad. Instead of shooting someone because it might hit children or was in front of children, you see him have like, I'm starting to second guess myself. Maybe I won't kill kids and women and men for peace kind of thing, which is interesting take. So it looks like they're trying to make him sympathetic, and I'm looking forward to the scenes he has with his dad here, because I think those seem to be the funniest, where he's kind of got like it reminds me of like Hank Hill as his dad, or like Hank Hill's dad kind of thing. Like, yeah, he's like, you got shot. I got shot. He's like, oh, you let someone shoot you kind of thing. It seems to be very entertaining.
He's like, I didn't let them, Dad. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff here. I'm curious to see what it's like. You have somebody like James Gunn who comes right off of the Suicide Squad movie, rolls right into this. So I'm feeling the vibes are going to be very similar. I'm curious what the how the budget and feel is going to be like, right? Because if there's any director or creator out there who's going to kind of get not unlimited money, right, but it's going to be able to do whatever they want on a streaming channel, it's going to be. Yeah. It's gonna be Gunn, right? So I'm curious to see what this is gonna look like, and also is there any longevity to it? I'm not saying it shouldn't, be just one season, right? But I'm curious if there's gonna be like a cliffhanger. We're gonna see season 2. Gunn probably. I mean, who knows? Maybe he could move his schedule around if he loves it. It seemed like he knocked this season out relatively quickly, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see even a different showrunner on season 2, just because he'll be busy, making Guardians of the Galaxy, the holiday special, maybe even rolling on to like an original project. So yeah, I will be looking at that last episode to see where it goes next.
Yeah. I'm interested. One of the things that got me, we talked about his different helmets have different abilities, and it looks like maybe someone's making him these helmets, and we got to see a couple of them in the trailer. So I'm like, I kind of want to know what these helmets do.
I kind of got the vibe. Because he was looking at different helmets on almost kind of like pedestals that maybe there's like a quote unquote like Peacemaker like project, and maybe there's other kind of like Peacemaker-esque like soldiers out there, and they get different style helmets, and he like busts in, he's like, no, this is my helmet now. Who knows? We will find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. John Cena, again, charismatic as ever, really hamming it up. I think he's great choice for this. It looks fun. It looks pretty solid. I'm excited to kind of see it and what's happening with it. They have the his little, what's his sidekick's name, whatever that was, who's the comedic relief.
Vigilante?
Vigilante, yeah. Who's like kind of sounds like Deadpool in the other trailer. So I don't think we got a lot of details here, but I'm excited to kind of see where it goes. So that's coming out January 13th. So right after the new year, rolling right into a Peacemaker TV show on HBO Max. But before...
we'll be. I was just gonna say we'll be a couple episodes into the Boba Fett show by the time this rolls out. So it's gonna be a busy January for us.
Yeah, it is. But before we get there, we actually got to go through Matrix Monday. Did you know tomorrow was Matrix Monday?
Wait.
That holiday we celebrate every year.
Are you telling me it's not Spider Monday every Monday until the next Spider-Man movie comes out?
That was last week. Okay, you gotta
every
get
IP. There's like 52 Mondays in a year, roughly, right? Depending on how the calendar moves out. So, is there enough IP to tack onto every Monday? When's Batman Monday? Is that going to be like in February?
Well,
Morbius Monday? At least there's some alliteration there, right?
That'll probably happen pretty soon. Knowing Sony, I'm thinking we got a Kingsman Monday coming up. That movie's around the corner next year. Marvel Monday every day. So. But Matrix Monday is tomorrow, apparently. So we're going to get a new trailer for The Matrix Resurrections. Tickets will go on sale for the movie. However, this is also for free with your HBO Max subscription for the first 30 days. And then they said other announcements. Now, there has been rumors / kind of hinted leaks at a new Matrix video game coming out.
That would be interesting. So I would imagine there had been Matrix video games in the past, but
yes, there have been several.
They would have to just kind of be like tied into like the movie, right? Almost like kind of like movie video game synergy, right?
Yeah,
not just like made from the IP.
Yes. So. Well, yeah, exactly. So, the Matrix, I believe it was the Matrix. I just had it pull up. Enter the Matrix was a game that actually they filmed scenes for it while they were filming the Matrix 2 and 3. So,
wow,
like the synergy was really like through the roof for that. And then there was a Matrix MMO, a Matrix Online, which obviously the Matrix is online, which is probably like the best way to kind of do it. And like even in that one, like the Morpheus. I about said Morbius because of you. Morpheus is actually killed in that game, like story mode, and all of that was canon. They're like everything that happens in these video games is canonical. So some people are looking for answers for that in the upcoming movie as well. However, I believe on PlayStation 5 there is the Matrix Awakens, an Unreal Engine 5 experience coming out possibly this week. So it's not like the Path of Neo game or the other ones probably, but it sounds like it's going to be very, very kind of full, like a full experience that ties into the upcoming movie. which I'm very excited to kind of check out. If they're if they're not making a full game, at least an experience, will have a lot of good graphics. If they make if they're like, okay, this is the setup for a game announcement at the Video Game Awards, like count me in. Like this is the perfect kind of way to do it.
Yeah, I feel like I have no idea what to expect from this trailer. Maybe some answers, right? Because like we stated before on the podcast, I don't think we're particularly Matrix nerds, but we were definitely alive and going to the movies, right, when the movies came out. But, I just couldn't really grasp what was going on back then. And now there seems to be a lot of mystery kind of pulled into the last trailer of like, oh, does Neo know who he is? Does he have amnesia? What's going on here? Is he in another form of the Matrix? I mean, what's going on? So we'll find out. But
I lean the other way. I am a Matrix nerd. Like I love it. I get it a little bit. I played the games. Like I'm very excited for this. But like there are more questions than answers. Like why bring this back 20 years later? Like. it makes no sense, right? Technology has changed. Back then, we were like, if they had a phone, we understood like what a phone booth was. No one half a lot of the population don't know what a phone booth is watching this one. So like, how are they going to update the technology into this new Matrix film is my question.
You know what? I think Neo's new ability is going to be turning all of his adversaries into NFTs. He just looks at them and like screenshots them, and then he sells them off to somebody else, and then he gains Ethereum. And the more Ethereum he gets, right, that's how he kind of like takes over the Matrix and turns it into like a blockchain. And then the whole movie and experience on its own gets turned into an NFT. And then there's somebody somewhere, just in their backyard shed, like mining cryptocurrency, and then just downloads a little bit of the Matrix here and there.
Matrix coins where all my money's going right now. My next
I mean, we're being facetious, but I would not be surprised if there's a cryptocurrency connected to the Matrix, because there was like a limited edition like NFT that was like created by the Matrix team. Like, I don't know if it was the studio or whatever was behind it, and there was like people like waiting in like the digital line to like buy them, and there was like a whole fiasco where people couldn't get the transactions to go through, and then they had paid for things and didn't get anything. It sounds all very Agent Smith nefarious. I don't know, maybe it was the whole part of the whole experience. One thing that will be kind of fun though is I'll be going home over the holidays. Like, I think this drops on like the 22nd. That's like the day we fly back. And me and my brother definitely watched these movies together growing up, so it seems like we'll be able to watch this together for the first time. So that'll be a nice, fun bonding moment. But beyond that, I don't know what the hell's going on with the Matrix, Chris.
I don't either. I want to see if they have an experience or game. But everyone's like, "Oh, you're gonna buy tickets?" I'm like, I don't really have to. So I probably will just watch it at home in my home theater, and then. If I like it, maybe go back to the theater. Because this is one of the movies, this is one of the franchises I remember watching my dad taking us to the midnight or the 9 o'clock showings to watch this, like the 2 and 3, because we couldn't drive ourselves at that point. So I do have some nostalgia for the theater experience with The Matrix, but I've not made up my mind yet. So we'll see on Matrix Monday how I feel at the end of it. Speaking of Morbius Monday, right now Michael Keaton is apparently adding more footage to this movie. He's out filming. No, he's actually physically in the booth putting the footage together himself. Just splicing things in from left and right that he can see. Probably his Birdman, footage. No, I'm kidding. But this movie is 7 weeks out, and they're adding more footage to it. So Michael Keaton must be like doing really good. Like he must have like been like test audiences must have been going left and right, or my other guess is something happens in Spider-Man where the it's not the Falcon. What's his name? Vulture is Vulture. Is more relevant.
Yeah, that's got to be it, right? Because as we harp on the show all the time, reshoots always happen in movies, right? They're built into the budget. They're built into the production schedule. All the actors sign contracts to come back and do pickup shots. It's just part of the production, whether it's tumultuous or whether everything's going just fine. But Morbius has been delayed and supposedly finished, right, for a while now. And if they're going back and adding stuff in now, it can't be because they're trying to like fix something with the script or retool. It's gotta be related to Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, my guess is like this is like one of those, maybe they're saving to film the end credit scene so nothing got ruined sitting on a hard drive. Like people like, hey, what's on this Morbius drive? Let me watch all the way through and put it on Reddit kind of thing. So My guess is it's
maybe
it's a last minute end credits thing because we are like less than 2 weeks away from Spider-Man. Let's go ahead and film it now because we're gonna have to answer some questions probably at press pretty soon about some stuff.
Oh, maybe. Or maybe that's how it was written in the contract. Like, you will be available to shoot these scenes like 5 weeks or before Spider-Man comes out, and that date kept shifting, so that definition of that contract shifted. But yeah, it really feels like it's going to be something. Is it correct to assume that it's going to be very similar to the end of Venom 2? Can we talk about the end of Venom 2, like the post-credit scenes now? I feel like if you're listening to this podcast, right, you've had to have checked it out, right?
Even if not, this is like a minor spoiler, but like something you want to know before you go into Spider-Man in a week and a half, I guess. So yeah, I'd say it's fair game.
Yes. Yeah, so I mean, if Eddie Brock and Venom have been launched into another multiverse in the end of their post-credit scene, do we just assume that that's exactly the same thing that's happening like to Morbius and the Vulture? I don't know, but I feel like we've got to be seeing something like that.
Yeah. Like I think there could be some crossover here, something like that. I don't think Morbius is going to be showing up in Spider-Man movies, but like could there be a merging of something? I don't know either, but it definitely leaves a lot of the trailer when he was in it left a lot of questions to be asked, but he was always the highlight of that trailer. Like, oh, Michael Keaton, he's a great actor. Why is he in there with Jared Leto? I don't know. So
well, it is going to be really funny though, because it seems like Michael Keaton's getting a lot more time as the Vulture, but the last time we saw him, he was kind of not like buddy pals with Spider-Man, right? But he was kind of like, hey, thanks for, not letting me die, keeping my secret, or, I don't remember exactly how it went down, but, he didn't literally want to kill him at the end when all things were said and done. So it'll be weird if Michael Keaton pops back up and he's like, on the revenge path towards Peter Parker, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I thought they kind of squashed that a little bit.
Yeah, like he's like, you didn't let me die. You didn't do anything to my daughter. Like, I'm going to keep your secret because, like, the Scorpion was looking for him, remember, at the end of that. So,
yeah.
I would say buddy, but, like, like I said, he has no reason to go after him at the end of the day.
Yeah, he's still a criminal, though, so who knows? Maybe he just wants to bust out of prison, right? So he's making some friends.
If his wife and daughter possibly disown him, he could have it out for Spider-Man. That might be, like, the only way I could see him be, like, very much against Spider-Man and Peter, but
or actually, now that I think about it, if since Mysterio puts his secret out there into the universe, the Vulture really doesn't have to hold on to secrets anymore. He's just like, hey, I thought I was doing a good thing, but it looks like I don't have to do it anymore, right?
Yeah, I'm honestly, what if he's like maybe helping Peter more than like maybe he's like trying to keep some bad guys off his back.
Maybe just kind of like, now we're square, now we're even. I did this one thing for you, so now stay out of my way while I go steal stuff with my big old talons.
Exactly. Yeah. What if he could be what if he's a surprise cameo at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home? It's not the other Spider-Man, it's Vulture, and he says on your left, and he swings through a portal. The Doctor Strange movie.
At this point, there's just been so much speculation about this No Way Home movie. Who knows? It could.
There's going to be so much right and so much wrong, and I don't know which one's which right now either. But either way, shifting gears, let's talk about Marvel. I'm a big fan of the Secret Invasion comic book series. Very much, the Skrulls infiltrate Earth, dealing with some of that stuff. But we know it's coming. We saw an aged up Nick Fury looking pretty pissed off. He's sick and tired of these mother effing Skrulls on his mother effing plane. And he's decided to go back and hire Maria Hill, Cobie Smulders herself, to come back into the series and help him out. So I don't think this really is surprising news to me, but it's good to have it confirmed, right? Like, what's she doing these days?
We'll see.
What's she doing?
Yeah, we'll see her come back. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of really canonical S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to return, right? Outside of the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., most of the agents were pretty disposable. It was like Maria Hill it was Nick Fury, and then Coulson, until he died/not died, whatever you want to believe, right? So we only really got 3 S.H.I.E.L.D. agents to go off of. And then, yeah, I know Hawkeye, technically a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, but they're Avengers now. They've kind of been shifted into a different category. So yeah, kind of got to bring Maria Hill back, or you got to start developing other characters inside of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point in time.
Yeah. Well, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s kind of, again, done. So maybe if they're dealing with S.W.O.R.D., but yeah, I don't think Nick Fury and Maria Hill will ever go back to organized government politics if they got a big space station out in space.
Also, Nick Fury, what's the one thing he always needs is people he can trust, right? So
that's right.
Maria can do that.
Exactly. So yeah, bring her back. That's fine. She's a great actress. Been doing a great job since she was first in the Avengers, I believe. She wasn't in Thor, right? So, yeah. Anyway, moving along. We may have, again, this is a rumor, this is a crew shirt, so take it for what you will. Our first look at Kang in Ant-Man and the Wasp based on a crew shirt for the stunt team. And what we have here is an Ant-Man helmet that has been literally cracked open and punched out on the left side, and a reflection of the purple suited, dark-faced Kang and his glowy. Is he glowing purple in his hands or something? I don't know. It looks very Kangy. So,
yeah, it looks like is there energy maybe emanating out of Kang? Is that lightning? What exactly going on here in this reflection? I don't know. The visualization of kind of the iconic Kang look is going to be interesting, because we've seen Jonathan Majors, right? So we've seen what he looks like in his human form, right? He's got normal colored human skin. It looks like a human, right? But it's technically a suit in the comic books, but in a comic book, a suit can be drawn to look like skin very easily. Also, when he appears in the cartoon. So I'm very curious what he's going to look like on screen, visually. How is he going to be looking like? Is it blue or purple? I can never remember what color
purple.
He is.
His suit's purple, but I think he's a dark blue.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious what's going to be making that. In my opinion, he doesn't have to look like that. I think just a futuristic suit on Jonathan Majors would look really, really rad. But, the last time we saw him, I still, in my bones, have that ominous feeling that, he portrayed in Loki. So that was very effective. Mm-hmm. He's I got variants out there. They are bad news, so bad news that I'm willing to prune all of these timelines to keep them away from everybody, but now they're loose. So and then imagining how dark that scene and that kind of vibe was paired with Paul Rudd as Ant-Man, that's gonna be a fun dynamic for sure.
Well, and this, what I was thinking about when I saw this actually adds stakes to Ant-Man. The last Ant-Man and the Wasp literally had no stakes at all, right? They were literally chasing down a briefcase that was a building the whole time, right? I felt nobody was gonna die. It was very low stakes. So.
I started rewatching Ant-Man and the Wasp a couple weeks ago. I was wrapping. What was I doing? Oh, I was wrapping fake Christmas presents for our Christmas card because we needed props in the background of it. And I was I need to put something on. I'll put on Ant-Man and the Wasp. And I can't even remember the MacGuffin of the movie. I know they were trying to get his. Oh, they're trying to get his lab back.
Yeah,
because inside of the lab,
the suitcase-sized building. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it was. And then the ghost was hunting them down, and I didn't really care too much for that character. Stakes, I agree.
Yeah, but Kang, literally, he who remains felt menacing. Kang is even worse. So this Ant-Man helmet being actually destroyed makes me people might not make it out of this movie. Some of these actors, it's always the third one. Is Hank Pym gonna be killed off? Will they kill off Michelle Pfeiffer already? Of course, I think Paul Rudd will make it, and then the Wasp will make it. But there's a chance here that some people will not, and I'm interested to see it. So we've got some time to come out, and this is definitely, I think, one of the more surprising Phase 4/5 movies they announced that we didn't even see coming. So good for them. Good for them. This weekend, yesterday actually, Fortnite ended their Chapter 2 and launched their Chapter 3. Chapter 3, Fortnite chapters introduce a new map. You talked about Call of Duty Verdansk getting a new map, right? Fortnite does this with their chapters. So with this new chapter, they kicked off a bunch of new features, new guns, new map, new it's like starting over fresh pretty much, other than the fact you loot, shoot, and build. And one of the surprising Battle Pass characters is actually Spider-Man himself. And you can get him in the symbiote, regular suit, symbiote suits, and future Foundation suits. But I was telling someone this, it feels weird to have Spider-Man with a gun.
I feel like I say that every time there's like a weird like with all of the Marvel characters, right? Like Wolverine holding a gun, like I get it, but like he has claws, or like isn't Superman in this game? Superman shooting a gun.
Superman's got a gun, Batman's got a gun, Shang-Chi's in the game, he's got a gun. And that's just the stuff
honestly,
I know.
Like and it's so surprising, right? Because like that just shows you how big Fortnite is as a juggernaut, right? Because you would think these IPs, these owners who own these IPs should regard them like so closely and so seriously to be like, oh yeah, no, go ahead and throw them in a video game with a gun. Yeah. I know it's like a very kind of like child whimsical game, and I think the conclusion would be a lot different if it was a more realistic looking game. Like we don't want to give Superman an AK-47, but we'll give him like something that's chunky and shoots like laser beams or stuff like that, right? And
there's no blood. You disintegrate into like digital blocks kind of thing. Like it's very like you don't think about it because it's not violent, but like Superman's in here, but Superman, I think he's a little bit more mature. Spider-Man with the gun feels really, really out of place, and I'm like.
But Chris, he swings now. He can swing through the game, and I don't know how that works. But is it like a power up? Is he constantly swinging?
No, it's not just him. There's an item, so any of your characters can swing. It takes up an inventory slot, and you can swing with it. So, yes, they did add that feature, swinging. Spider-Man's in. We actually didn't talk about Spider-Man is now in Marvel Avengers as well this week, so that was another big Spider-Man video game thing. But it's interesting, It's funny because Carnage was the main actual skin for last Battle Pass because Venom 2 was coming out. So Spider-Man coming out puts Spider-Man in this. Like they're like literally all over the place, like with this like quote unquote corporate synergy, again, to use that word that we keep using today.
So what you're telling me, it's no longer a Spider Monday, it's more like Spider Quarter 4 of 2021 because we have so much Spider-Man stuff at the end of this year.
Oh yes, it is. They've been holding on to this for how long now? I guess probably forever. Like because Spider-Man was originally a year ago, wasn't it, or something like that? So I don't know. This has just been a great Spider December, if you will. But Fortnite, again, free. Battle Pass costs money to get Spider-Man, but he is in there shooting up all your favorite other IPs. You name it. Ariana Grande, she's got a gun. Why not? Give it to her. We'll see how this goes. Let's jump into Spider-Man No Way Home, because last time we recorded, we were literally on the cusp of the tickets going on sale. And here I am at midnight, crashing all of the servers in the world, trying to buy these movie tickets. Like, it went down. I was talking to you. I was bitching about it the whole time. I was so mad. Because I had my seats, and then it crashed and crashed and crashed, and then put me back in the queue for 40 minutes. I'm like, I'm just going to go to sleep and get up. But
were you using the Fandango app to get your tickets?
No, I was using AMC directly.
Okay, yeah, because I'd heard some mixed experience with it. I chatted with somebody this weekend who wanted to go to the I guess it's TCL or TLC Chinese Theater, whatever it is, down in Hollywood, and they tried Fandango and it was like crashing, but they just went to the website directly and got their tickets no problem. So this is just a PSA to everybody out there. Just get used to the bookmark the website for your favorite theater, right? Don't go through Fandango or any of these things unless, I don't know, if you got a gift card or something like that, you got no other choice, right? But yeah, that usually helps out.
Yeah, I was on AMC directly. AMC, again, like, what's that? They're like the biggest movie theater chain, right, in America. So like their whole site was down as well. But I just woke up in the morning. I put a note. I actually sent a text to my wife to like, hey, check seats in the morning when you wake up, because she wakes up way earlier than I do for work. And she was like, hey, there's a couple here that aren't bad. But the showing's at 3 p.m. I'm like, Yep, that's the one. We're doing 3 p.m. on Thursdays. I'm taking off work. You're taking off work that afternoon. We're all gonna go do this. But so I got my 3 p.m. Thursday at the IMAX screening. Now I have seen other people like influencers and other big events get Wednesday night tickets for the 15th for like special previews or whatever. So this is a PSA, not just this week but next week. Mute your keywords, block your internet, don't click on any articles. Like,
Chris,
stay away.
You saw the list I sent you because, like I said before, not only do you have to list not only do you have to you mute the phrase Tom Holland, you have to mute the phrase hashtag Tom Holland, so your whole muting thing gets doubled. And then there's like so many characters on here, and then you have to anticipate. Like I had to mute like Charlie Cox and Daredevil. I probably need to go back in and do Kingpin because who knows? Like anything could happen. Anybody could pop up in this movie. But unfortunately, I couldn't get tickets until Sunday morning, which God is going to be so long to avoid spoilers. But I think I can manage it. I can make it happen. Luckily, since I'm heavily focused on one social media site at a time, I will avoid any spoilers that way. But the funny thing was when we're gonna talk about Spider-Verse here in a second, Spider-Verse broke through all of my muted keywords because I didn't think to mute that one, so it made it through. So maybe I need to mute that one now. I don't know. Because people were using the term Spider-Verse when they were talking about this live action No Way Home. So. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. Stay tuned. Get those tickets, fellas.
Yeah.
And ladies. And them,
right.
Whatever.
I know some people at work, they were talking, they're like, well, we usually go on the Tuesday after because I have kids. And I'm like, well, I'd still buy them now because there's no guarantee that first week is going to hold any seats for anybody going forward. Because they're apparently... the No Way Home... What do you say, Mike? There's no better sign that the box office is healing than, literally Spider-Man crashing every ticket, website in the world. It's breaking records. It's beating in-game ticket sales in most markets. But the biggest thing here is Tom Holland, an England person himself. He's like, "Hello, I'm Tom Holland," in his native accent. But James Bond is also, a big thing in England, and this doing 3 times the amount of tickets as James Bond did in England for ticket sales. So. That's fantastic for them.
Yeah, I guess I'm getting the feeling that people were just looking for the excuse to finally go back to the theaters, right? I mean, and the thing is, there's been other big releases, right? We've had other Marvel movies, but I suppose the other Marvel movies were either one, a prequel, and then the other one was just new, untested IP. Untested as in, we just hadn't seen the character on screen before yet. Yeah. So this is the first time I would say we're really getting back into the meat of the MCU, and it's Spider-Man. I guess you can never underestimate Spider-Man. I feel like my entire life I can only ever recall headlines of just any Spider-Man movie breaking a record back either when it was Raimi or now. So you can't underestimate Marvel's probably most recognizable and profitable character. Because when you talk about superheroes, right, it's always Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. Those have got to be the top 3 most recognizable characters.
Exactly. My cousin, her kid is 4 years old. He had a birthday party. We showed up for a couple minutes. He had Spider-Man cookies and was wearing a Spider-Man outfit. Spider-Man transcends children to old people across every medium. Everybody knows Spider-Man. Everybody loves it. I think even if this wasn't MCU related, this still has the opportunity to make a lot of money. I think this is also one of the few movies you have to see in the MCU. Black Widow, nah. Shang-Chi, probably. Eternals, nope. Not yet. So Spider-Man is a movie.
Oh my God,
you have to watch.
I totally forgot about the Eternals.
Yeah, it's one of those movies you have to see, or else it will get ruined for you and you will be disappointed. This one, since it is trying to tie up literally every other Spider-Man movie since 2002, it's weighing a lot on its shoulders. And Doctor Strange again being in this very, very popular character, a lot going on, and it's just people are excited to watch Spider-Man. He is a beacon of hope for everybody. It's funny that I just looked it up here. We are coming up next May will be the 20th anniversary of the first Spider-Man. So this it's kind of come full circle in two decades of Spider-Man films. So that's really, really exciting. So if you get your tickets while you can, if you can, some people are selling for what was it, $900?
Oh yeah.
or
yeah,
more.
it was a screenshot of Universal City Walk out here, which is a really popular movie theater. Like Spider-Man opening night tickets for like $900, which is insane. But if you're gonna find anybody out there with enough disposable income to throw at tickets like that, it's gonna be Los Angeles.
It's
so
LA, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them were actually sold.
Yeah. The other thing, this actually probably deserves a bigger bullet point. Amy Pascal has essentially confirmed another Spider-Man trilogy in the works at Marvel after this, which pretty much says, I don't think Tom Holland will die, and I don't think he'll go to another universe after this. I think we're safe to say Tom Holland will move forward. We'll probably get Miles in a couple movies, or she's just pulling our leg, and we're all gonna be looking stupid here in a little bit. Whenever like 2 weeks. Whenever we found out she's lied to us. So
yeah, like we were saying the other week, we don't know a whole lot on directions of characters in the MCU kind of after their trilogy, right? We were making arguments that Thor, you could kind of throw out a movie if you really wanted to and say he's about to like maybe conclude his trilogy on his next film. But I would think if you're going to do a whole nother trilogy with Spider-Man, whether Tom Holland is in it the majority of not, you got to kind of tell a different chapter of his story, because at the end of the day, these stories are about people, and that person is Peter Parker. So, would we see him traditionally like going to college, doing that thing, trying to be himself?
He needs to be a photographer at the Daily Bugle. I think we got that is a core function of him, right? Like, let's lay that down a little bit. Him actually working for the Daily Bugle.
Yeah.
So.
And it's so crazy, right? Because the scale of adventures and heroic things he's done is like literally off the charts for the Spider-Man character, like at this age, right? And just to kind of like see him try to move on and like go to college does seem, maybe a little not unrealistic, but they would really have to make us believe it out there in the audience. Because I feel like if you've gone through that much as a teenager, like I don't know, maybe things wouldn't be normal like for the rest of your life. It seems like he would maybe end up being like a freelance like SHIELD agent, and maybe he wouldn't really go to college, but maybe he'd be the understudy of like some sort of like super genius somewhere. I don't know, but they got to tell a different they got to start a different chapter for the character.
And I agree. We want to see him swing in the city. We've talked about that. He needs to be downtown New York, but I don't think he needs to be under the influence of somebody else. I think he actually needs to break out and have his own stuff, because like he's been under Iron Man for both of them, like under Mysterio a little bit for the second one, under Doctor Strange for this one. I need a pure Spider-Man story where he's not relying on older characters to tell him what to do and how to do it.
I mean, we'll be talking about Hawkeye here in a second, but I mean, does Young Avengers make the most sense for him, right? Are they going to tell a story where, there's a youngish person running the Young Avengers, or will they bring in more of like a responsible adult to run them and command them? I don't know. There could be something in there for Tom.
Yeah, I also want to see him make his own suit. We saw his first homemade suit, right? I want to see him make his own suit, like with his own ideas and technology, like kind of going forward, and not have him like rely on like, oh, Doctor Strange needs to make me a magical suit, or Tony Stark's jet has a suit maker on it, kind of thing. So I do want to see him come up with his own ideas, and maybe we've always seen in the video games he's got like electric webs or like a web ball that explodes. Like, what can he do that gets a little more creative going forward?
Oh man,
well?
I just realized a funny kind of one-off thing that they could do in No Way Home is Tobey Maguire. He's the only Spider-Man that doesn't have web shooters. Yep. They just come out of his skin. Like, that's got to be a funny moment, right? Like, Tom or even like Andrew Garfield, like, oh, that just comes out of you. He's like, I don't run out. I just got to make sure I eat my three square. Yeah, stay hydrated. Yeah, they just keep coming out. Like, that could be really funny. Yeah. Oh man, if that's not in the movie, that's got to be like a deleted scene or something. That's too funny not to mention, right? Because that's the biggest difference of his character. Oh man, all right.
I imagine like they could probably do like some animated like shorts like of like the adventures of these three Spider-Men, like talking about how they're all different and stuff like that. So, so Spider-Man looks like he's going to have more adventures afterwards, or Amy Pascal has literally been told by Kevin Feige, lie to their faces until they believe you. Because remember, for the longest time, they did not say the title of the second Avengers movie in the first one at all. And then like, yeah, that's actually in game. We lied to you for a year. So, I could see them easily doing that. All right, let's jump into our big surprise here of the weekend. Not only did we get a Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse confirmation of the title that we talked about a couple months ago, right? But that is part one. This is now a multi-part film. And we did not see that coming at all. Personally,
that's pretty
I did.
Wild.
So,
I guess we talk about that before we even talk about what's in the trailer, but that makes a whole lot of sense, right? Animation is a big production. It's a huge pipeline with a lot of things going on. The first one proved that you can make a quality movie, and I'm hoping since the first one has come out, and won the Academy Award for Best Animated Film, and tons of other animated awards, hopefully that's enough out there to get people back to see the next one, but in big box office return, right? Everybody, literally everybody loved the first one, but it just kind of did okay at the box office, right? So I'm hoping this next one really smashes it, and then it just makes sense to keep the crew on, keep them working, get the third one made.
Yeah, well, we talked about that. That first one had legs, right? After it came out, it was the at-home release that really got people to watch it easier, and then people. I've not really heard anyone say a bad thing about that film. And you're right. The way that this movie looks and is animated is a very custom, unique style, right? You don't want to start and stop this crew if they're already in a workflow. Go ahead and crank them out. Now, I will make one complaint here. I hate the idea of them calling it part 1 and part 2 because they literally could have just taken something out of Marvel's playbook and given them 2 separate names and then just released the other one really, really closely. Hey, this one's out here. In 12 months, our next one's here. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man through the Spider-Verse, like we talked about, kind of thing. I don't know. And not made them part 1. I think the part 1 and part 2 it's great that they've said, hey, we're already going to do a second one. We're committing to this. So you get 3 full movies. But I just hate the naming convention myself. So
yeah, I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see what it looks like on physical media and marketing materials, right? We're seeing the terminology part 1 in the trailers, but what's the poster going to say, right? What's the social media graphic going to say compared to what's the poster in the movie theater going to say, right? So as long as it's never ingrained on a stamp when they print the Blu-ray, right? I feel like they still have the ability to change the name. And even if they don't, there's some movies out there that had plenty of exposure and they ended up changing their names, you know, when it came to physical release to, to clear things up. Birds of Prey, right? Things could still change. But yeah, I agree with you. It does seem kind of weird, why are you calling it part 1? Across the Spider-Verse is such a cool name. I feel like that you just have another opportunity to give us another cool name for the third one.
Yeah, and maybe it is a different name, and then it's part 2 on the end. It's fine, it's whatever. But I feel like it's just a missed opportunity, and we don't know what the actual sequel to the sequel's date is yet. How long are we gonna have to wait for part 2? Is my question.
Yeah, that's true. Because what was it, 2014? I think when the first Spider-Verse movie came out, or was it 2016?
2018.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking way too far back. Yeah. Well, either way, that's 4 years, and some of these live-action movies come out 2 years. So, like I said, the production pipeline takes a while to make something animated,
especially this visual quality as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we'll see something faster than 4 years. 2 years, I think it would be a stretch to see it in 2023. My guess is 2024.
I'm gonna. But you know what? We'll make. I'll say 2023 because they already have the voice actors and they have the animators working. But
yeah, that's true.
I'll be optimistic,
right? I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to be mad, right? If it comes out earlier. But let's talk about what's in the trailer. Because I feel like classic kind of animation promotion, you never really know what you're going to get with a trailer for an animated movie. Sometimes you get the traditional straightforward animation stuff, straightforward kind of trailer, cycle. But this we get a clip. We start with a clip and then it kind of segues into another clip. But they're awesome clips, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we get the what we really like about the first one, right, is the dynamic between Miles and Spider-Gwen, if you will, Ghost Spider, whatever it is. So I really, before the hexagonal portals are really cool looking. I will give them credit for that creation.
Feels very insectoid.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like a honeycomb kind of thing. And so she shows up and like, well, apparently this portal makes stuff in his room float around, including his underwear, which was really, really funny. Like to see this, teenage boy, like, the girl shows up and, she even steals, like he's like hiding stuff in his room, like as she's there, which is really funny. But it's like, it felt so natural. It felt like an extension of the last movie, right? Like,
yeah.
To me, I didn't feel out of place, like a jarring. Like this was like, I'm like, this is great. Was this a cut scene from the first one? Like, is that what we're seeing here?
Well, yeah, I don't know about you, but it took me a more seconds than I care to admit to realize the characters were aged up, right? I was like, oh yeah, everybody here is a little bit older. Yeah. It almost kind of looks like they've aged in real time because was Miles like a freshman in high school? I don't remember exactly. He was definitely like a teenager, right?
Yeah.
So let's say if he was like 14, if he aged in real time, he'd probably be about like 18. But kind of looks like he says he's grounded, right? So I'm guessing maybe like 17, something like that.
I would say probably maybe like 2 years have probably passed in that world, 2 to 3.
He definitely hit puberty. That's what I'm trying to say. He definitely grew.
He's grown up a little bit. He's a little bigger. Gwen looks about the same a little bit. Maybe her hair's grown back a little bit since the last haircut she got in that one. And then it jumps into, now this is where I wanted to get you. So this looks like real footage from the movie. Totally 100% think this is from the movie. So he gets, I don't think this is directly related. He looks like he's going on a dimension hopping journey. And the first place he goes to reminds me literally of the Jetsons, the year 2099 in Marvel 2099. There's huge skyscrapers, there's bridges of cars going across all of them, right? Very futuristic, very like, not Metroplex, but I think of like cyber kind of future-ish.
Kind of feels like Fifth Element-y.
Yeah, exactly. But to me, the art style changed for this next scene compared to the first one.
It's like totally like flat, like 2D animation. It's kind of like that when you're watching Inside Out and they go through that shortcut and they're changing different art styles through as they progress.
So is this a choice because, when the Spider People came to Miles' universe, they kept their original universe art style, right? But if he's in this and he has a very different flat art style, is this a proof of concept thing, or is this actual footage as well? Because it felt like the second half was not nearly as polished as the first half, to me.
Well, I mean, if anybody has credibility with doing any portion of a movie in 2D in like a feature format, it's going to be like the Spider-Verse team, right? Yeah. Like no producer is going to push back on them when it comes to like understanding what looks good artistically in animation on the big screen, which is great. But one thing to note that I'm sure if you Google this trailer, like secrets, Easter eggs, I'm sure there's a ton of thumbnails that have like the circle and red arrow pointing to the bit of technology that's on Spider-Man 2099's wrist. So I think that like the short segment that we're seeing here, I don't think we're going to be there too long, because the scene we see Miles swinging around, he gets freaking T-boned by this huge, like, beefy, like, upside-down triangle-shaped Spider-Man, right? Yeah. He gets T-boned. They're going at it, right? So I feel like, this keypad on his wrist keeps getting pressed, and they're, like, warping, like, in and out of different dimensions, and we're seeing a brief moment here where they're kind of in more of a flatly rendered segment, and then we'll probably pop back into, like, 3D after, like, some tussling.
Right. Well, and I only asked that because, like I said, the other Spider people, like Spider-Ham and Spider-Man Noir and the Cyber, they kept their unique universe art style, and Miles lost his, and even Spider-Man 29 in this. So I just want to know, is this just will this be how it is? It's fine. I'm not knocking it either way. I'm just curious at the end of the day, really, because we didn't talk about this, but Miles is really getting chased by Spider-Man 2099, who we saw at the post-credit scene in the first Into the Spider-Verse, voiced by I put his name here. I'm actually looking at some of the clips right now. Oscar Isaac, who's Moon Knight, Poe Dameron, whatever, is voicing Spider-Man 29. Will return for this film, and Spider-Man 29 is not usually a hostile character, and it looks like he's literally hunting and throwing and fighting Miles through these universes, doesn't it? Like is very aggressive.
I feel like there's like a bit of a disagreement, right? Because it doesn't look like they're literally punching each other so much as like just trying to subdue, get under control. So they didn't, and also the post-credit scene with the first Spider-Verse movie where we got to see a little bit of a tease of 2099. Nothing's really seemed too hostile there as well. But everything here just looks so great. It looks so awesome. The energy here, after watching the first Spider-Verse movie, I went on Twitter and I hunted down a bunch of the animators on the film and I followed a bunch of them, and they're already kind of like posting like breakdowns just from this trailer. So the segment where like Miles kind of enters like this 2D plane all the way to the end, like 5 different animators like touched on those different parts. So almost like every time you see like a camera wipe, it's like kind of wiping to like a different animator, and it just goes to show you like how professional that team is, right? It just looks like it's all one scene kind of created by one person. So this is almost kind of like taking like the Pixar mentality I have, like, and cranking it up to 11, where it's just like, even if like a Pixar movie isn't like your taste or you don't really like it, you know, you're going to have amazing, beautiful animation. But I have nothing but high expectations for this movie. I think the story will be great. All of the actors returning are great. Do you think we're going to see like Nicolas Cage return or any of our other characters we learn about in the first film?
Possibly. I did see one of the articles say that this will be a different team of spider people from different, which makes sense because there are literally hundreds of different Spider-Man variations out there.
We do know, it has been confirmed like a long time ago, that we're supposed to be seeing that Japanese Spider-Man from the live action Japanese show, which was that 70s, 80s? I don't remember exactly 80s, when that was. And he has like a Zord style mech. So I wonder, every time I think of like Spider-Verse, right, in any form, live action or not, I always think of that 90s Spider-Man cartoon where there is like a whole like freaking Spider-Verse like episode arc. It's at least 2 episodes, if not more. And I always remember there's like this armored spider, which I always thought was really cool. So I would love to see that character pop up.
I think there's a lot of opportunities to show it, because I read the Spider-Verse comic series a couple years ago, between 5 and 10 years ago. I don't remember when it came out, and it had a lot of different ones like you really wouldn't think about kind of in there. So it was definitely really fun to take a look at that. Now I am looking up here. It does have we talked about this Issa Rae being Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, in this movie as well. And then also,
I forgot about that.
Yep, and then like you said, the Takuya Yamashiro Spider-Man from the 78 series will appear. So I expect a bunch more. Of course, the other ones will come up. What was it? The Spider-Ham voice actor, the comedian. Guy.
Why can't I think of his name? Yeah, he's
John
been
Mulaney.
in and out of rehab, and John Mulaney. That's right.
Yeah. He well, I think I would have watched a whole animated series based on his like character.
They were floating that around as an idea. Yeah. I mean, he got like a couple shorts, I think, out of it at least, right?
Yeah. And then also, just on the Wikipedia page, take this for what you will. It's not cited, but Part 2 is expected to be released in 2023, and a female-focused spin-off film is also in development. So,
all right. I am down literally from anything from this team. Yes. They have proven that they can make some really cool stuff, so I'm here for it.
Yes, this is great. This was a really, really lovely weekend surprise from Sony, and to look into it. And this film is coming out October 7th of 2022, and Sony has another book date of October 6th, 2023, so that might be when the date is for the next one. So I love it. This was really, really great, and I'm going to go ahead and make our segue into the next one. Did you remember that Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy, is voiced by Haley Steinfeld of Hawkeye fame?
I didn't.
Yes. So Spider-Gwen is Haley Steinfeld, who is in Hawkeye. So we're going to jump into our Hawkeye discussion as we hit episode 3 last week. So she does a great job in that voice acting and this TV show. I will give her that. Like, she became the most number 1 IMDb actress after this week's episode.
Yeah, I saw that. But one thing that was surprising, I talked about her other show before, Dickinson, that's on Apple TV. Yep. Dickinson usually premieres new seasons like at the beginning of the year, like January, kind of like February, in that range. The latest season just dropped like I think at the beginning of like November or something, and I had no idea. I didn't even see a marketing push for it. So if you really want to watch a lot of Haley Steinfeld stuff right now, there's a wealth of it out there, right? You know, even Bumblebee, she is
Bumblebee.
She's out there right now.
Well, she I remember her first role was True Grit back, it was 2000 or 2010 or something like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Mm-hmm.
That's where I saw her first, and then, you know, she does singing and stuff like that. So she's really a young actress kind of taking the world by storm. So that's really, really, you know, good for her. And I think she's doing a great job. This episode, again, full spoilers for episode 3 of Hawkeye. If you've not watched it, pause this, go listen to it. The Imagine Dragons conversation, like, I felt that in this. Like, she's like, at least you don't have to go watch Imagine Dragons. Like, I like Imagine Dragons.
I like Imagine Dragons.
Yeah. So she was.
Yeah, I think this is just a good point to say. You know, I was a little kind of on the fence about those like first 2 episodes, waiting to see where this goes. And this episode really sold it for me. And it wasn't even the kind of like the oneer scene in the car, right? You know, we got a preview of that on like Disney Plus Day, so I was kind of expecting that.
Which is
even
sad.
though they did manipulate. They manipulated it a little bit, though, in that first one, so we got a lot more of it. That chase was a lot more, but overall, I loved this episode. I loved the kind of the cold open where we got to see, you know, Echo's background. I like the banter at the beginning of the episode. I'm so glad you put it here in the show notes because I totally forgot about it, surprisingly, but the Pym arrow was like hilarious. I wasn't expecting it. And the only downside was it, like, I don't know if this is a trend, but like I feel like the episode ended very abruptly, right? Because usually you're kind of like culminate up to something at the very end of the episode, and then you leave us on a cliffhanger. But then it's just like we're left kind of with the soon-to-be stepdad and the house, and I was just like, all right, I'm not too concerned about Hawkeye dealing with his own sword.
Well, we have her dad, who is Jack Duquesne, who is the character Swords Master in the comic. He's always got the swords, but he's got his Ronin sword up against his neck. So I think the ending is really good because we don't know where it's going to go next, which is interesting. But I think this one really paid off. I wish the car scene had not been spoiled on Disney Plus Day, if I'm going to be honest with you, because that was it's a magical shot. I know there's a lot of camera work. It's not all done in one take, but like that was fantastic to watch it literally just rotate in a clockwise circle around the car from the action to the dialogue to the action back and forth. And that was, you know, some really cool stuff to see the dynamic of, again, Hawkeye and, you know, I guess Kate Bishop, little Hawkeye, do that, and then, you know, break away from the tracksuit bros. Echo, I do have to step back to last week. I was incorrect. The song Echo was listening to at the end of episode 2 is called Christmas Island by, I always get this wrong. Is it Depeche Mode? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode. So that's their song Christmas Island. And then we had another Christmas song this episode. So I think we're going to have a little, you know, every episode's going to end with a Christmas song.
We've reached the pattern. Two things about the car chase, since, a majority of this episode was that intense car chase. I don't know who signed off on the special effects team of that goo arrow, but that goo was the most unconvincing goo I think I've seen since maybe like early 2000. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I don't know if they left off a filter in the edit or something. It looked so out of place and weird and bizarre and almost like cartoony to an extent. It took me out of the scene for a minute, which is not what you want a special effect to do. But, you know, I let it slide because it's just one brief moment. But then I also had a question for you. I don't know if you even remember it or even clocked what happened. But, you know, they're driving through the city and Hawkeye tells Kate Bishop to shoot down the stoplights.
Yes.
So she shoots them with precise, accurate shots, and they land on the ground. But I don't know what was supposed to happen. What did those stoplights do? They didn't. I was expecting them to like land on a car or somebody like to run over them, but like they just drove around them. I was like, why did she shoot down those stoplights? That didn't make any sense.
So we've actually talked about this because I think that's, to me, that was the most unrealistic thing of the episode is like literally shooting down stoplights, stopping traffic in New York whenever there really wasn't any traffic in New York.
That's what it was supposed to.
Yeah,
that's what it was supposed to be. They were kind of like being heroic and like directing traffic.
Well, like that, and they caused the other cars to kind of stop so they could drive through the intersection.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I get the idea creatively, but I don't think the execution worked out as well as they thought it was going to.
Yeah, I mean, short of shooting someone directly with a gas arrow or an acid arrow, that's about the best they could do with acid arrows. But I love the arrow. That's what we want. Hawkeye has fucking gimmicky arrows, right? Like a bag of them, and we've only seen like a couple of them here and there. So it was really cool to see some of these like really, really super gimmicky arrows like get into play here, like the bubble gum, the one that like attached all the Christmas trees to the front of that one car, like it like sprung out and attached to everything, like a web kind of arrow.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "What does this arrow do?" And it's just like literally a suction cup arrow that he swings from later. So it was really cool to see him go through the arrows and stuff like that. And the scene where afterwards where he's had his hearing aid knocked out, right? So we get in this one, he's like, "Are you wearing hearing aids?" He's like, "Yes." Here's the explosions. It's knocked out. Echo says you rely too much on technology, and then so they're talking about. She's like, we should walk the dog, and then he's like, you are like he can't hear her, so he's like, you're the best, and then he's like, we should also walk the dog. So they played with sound really, really well in this, like between not hearing stuff and things. There was I think one of the more emotional scenes was when his son called him and he couldn't hear anything, so she had to like relay that to him. It was a really like a human moment in this series for the character.
And that's so important, right? Because, in the MCU we talk about all of these like big obstacles, right? And thinking about half of the universe disappearing and comparing it to just one person trying to get home from Christmas, you really try to think, well, how do you ground this and how do you make the audience care? And you just put in this like sweet moment where like he can't hear his son, but luckily Kate is there, understands how important this is, especially since she's been like a goofball like the whole episode, right? Just been like cocky and aloof, but trying to impress him. And then she finally gets this moment where she can really step up and she's writing this stuff down on paper. And like those are the moments that really matter. And I think that's why I really connected to this episode, because it was like emotionally connecting, right? It starts off with this kind of like very dark origin of Echo. And was that her father or her uncle? I didn't quite catch who that was at the beginning.
I believe that's a father or a father figure of hers with the ponytail, who was killed by Ronan. However, Ronan never took his mask off, so I think there's going to be some more reveals there that we find out later.
But that actor's great. He is in Taika Waititi's FX show Reservation Dogs. He's a regular character in that show, so go watch that if you want more of that guy. Reservation Dogs, a much funnier role for him than him like brutally dying to Ronan in like a body shop, right?
However, you do bring up a good point. He says, "I need to go do some work with Uncle." We see a very large man in a black suit with a very white hand, and I'm pretty sure, 90% sure, this is Kingpin, Mike. That's our Kingpin.
Really? I feel like they're just alluding to this kind of like crime family that they've kind of been pivoting and talking about in the show. I didn't really get Kingpin vibes off of that.
I think the laugh is Vincent D'Onofrio. I think the uncle literally is the King. Now, if they pull the rug out from under me, I'll gladly take it. I'm not one of them. Is it Mephisto? I'm not one of those people. I don't care. I will gladly take it. But there's an opportunity here because Echo and Kingpin have a history in the comic books. If they're gonna bring Vincent D'Onofrio into the MCU, this is how you do it right here. It's like a very, very subtle character. I could see them also revealing that the same, at the end of the episode, like, or the series, and like, okay, well, here's the variant version of Kingpin or whatever they're gonna say it is. So I don't know. There's a lot of opportunities here, but yeah, I think Uncle is Kingpin. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm 100% wrong. Totally just winging it here on that. But I did not know this actually. The actress Alakwa. Alakwa Cox. I don't know how to pronounce her first name very well. She's actually an amputee herself. That's not from the comic book character.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that is actually her personal, and they've brought that into the character as well. So,
that's great.
And her powers, Echo. When you say Echo, you think it's like echolocation. She's essentially a lighter version of Taskmaster. She can watch
like
things and replicate. She echoes that person by watching them. That's where that point where her dad was like, just watch and do what he does kind of thing. So I was like, oh yeah, it clicks now. That's what she's doing. Even though we don't see her do any of that yet. But there's some opportunities down the road for that to kind of come along as well. Now, you mentioned the Pym arrow, right? Did we talk about how cool the Pym arrow was? Like,
no, man. When I saw him bust out that arrow and the Pym kind of like inscribing was on it, I was like, oh shit! I wasn't sure what was gonna happen, but that huge arrow coming down, I was like, hell yeah! This is what I want to see in these shows. I want to see them go big and like really go at it like that.
Yeah, I agree, and I think one of the other things here is like they're being really they're not saying like, oh, you're good but you're not Hawkeye level good to Kate. Like, she's very competent because she trained forever. She knows what she's doing. Like, he was like, okay, shoot straight up and hit that car coming at us kind of thing, right? Like, and she just can do it rather than like, oh my god, you missed or you don't believe in yourself. I hate when they kind of go down that route. Like just do it, get on with it, because we want to see what the arrows are going to do. I want to see all the cool stuff along the way with that. So yeah, I was trying to think what else this episode had.
Well, we basically had the like opening fight scene in the warehouse, which was pretty cool. We had the car chase, and then right after the car chase, things kind of slowed down. We had that very sentimental conversation over the phone, and
he got his hearing aid fixed.
Yeah, and then the little kind of like little ending scene where soon-to-be stepdad is in the house. I have a feeling everything's just kind of blow over after that scene.
Yeah,
she's like, oh no, don't. This is my friend Clinton Barton, and he's like, oh hi Clint, oh nice. And then he's gonna be like, oh nice sword, where'd you get that?
I think that'll be it. We're at the halfway point for the season, which feels weird to say, because it's only been 2 weeks, but we got 2 episodes, so. Usually, this Mike, TV shows, the halfway points usually you're at a high or a low mark, right, for the show. So I think something's got to happen next episode to really set us off on our final journey here. Like, I don't think we can have any more like ambiguity of like who's bad and who's good. I think they need to like start solidifying who it is so they don't try to rush it later.
And also, like, is Florence Pugh showing up in any real like I'm not under any assumption that necessarily Hawkeye is kind of riding off into the sunset after this show. He could still very much be within the MCU. It seems like Jeremy Renner does not mind that he still gets to be this character. So Florence Pugh and Hawkeye could clash either in a different season or a different show or a different movie. But what is she gonna like show up in like the very last scene of the last episode? Like, oh, it's my turn now. I'm about to mix things up. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah, I want to see where she is. I don't think they'll kill Hawkeye either. I feel.
Oh no, he's got a family. They can't kill him. He's got a family.
Like, his family all died and he lived, and then like, okay, his family lived and he's gonna die. I don't think they'll do that at all. So I think he'll make it out of this unscathed. But I'm interested to see the journey to get home in time for Christmas along the way. So he's got that ticking clock. I'm enjoying the show, Mike. Like we said every week, I think it goes by so fast because it's just so much fun watching this little ground level journey, right? Like the world's not ending. This isn't Netflix where there's dragons under New York. It's not Loki where the time streams are in trouble. This is very just kind of down to earth, down to level. Hawkeye just needs to get his suit back, wrap up some loose ends, and get out of here. So I'm loving it. Looking forward. We are just a couple days away from the next one, and that's the best part about Wednesdays. We're right around the corner from them. So all right, well, let's wrap this baby up with a little bow, send it on its way. Mike, if people know what you're up to, what you're doing, where can they find you at?
Oh, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Valdan87, or Twitter, Valdan, Valdan. That's also my Xbox gamer tag, where I'm going to be playing Halo all week. You know it. If people know more about the show, what we're doing, tune back in next week, the last week before our Spider-Man review next week. So, come join us for whatever news we can scrape up this week. Do let them know where it's at.
Oh, all you got to do is visit superheroslate.com. That's the best place you can find our awesome show notes. So if you want to see any of these things that we talked about this week, or just have a nice little itemized list of history, right? What happened this week in the history of Superhero Slate, TV, movies, and superheroes? Go check out our show notes for this episode, and you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love to listen to find podcasts. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you, of course, so reach out and let us know what you think is going to be popping up in the next Spider-Verse movie. What Spider-Person are you most looking forward to? I want to know. Chris wants to know. Let us know. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and make sure you have a safe and happy holidays by going to get that booster shot, because we want all of our listeners to be safe and healthy. And we'll be here every week, folks.
That's right. We will see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.